Well, hey everyone, and welcome. I'm Zach. I'm the community manager of BigTime, and welcome to this month's installment of our Town Hall Q&A. You guys asked, and we answered, and today I'm joined by our very own Matt Tonks, our chief technical officer. He will be our bastion of wisdom for today. Matt, welcome to the stream, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, before we get into it, I just want to say to you, dude, man, 0.26 was really an incredible patch, from the combo system to the new classes brought to the game to revamps to procedural generation, the Thunder Cube. Dude, it really just covered it all. And I want to ask you, before we jump into these questions, for context of the community, where does 0.26 fall into line in terms of progression to the whole development process of the game? Do you see it as a groundbreaking patch or just a large evolution in the natural development process of the game?
No, I would see it more as a stepping stone in the long path to getting the game more where we want to be. But really, Big Time is being built and produced as a long-term service. So there's not like three more 0.26s and then the game is done. We plan on adding content and adding stuff, adding features, adding new stuff to do in the game for the foreseeable future, basically. So 0.26 will just be one big patch of many, many big patches where we add more stuff for people to do and pay attention to quality of life issues that people are reporting. By the way, thank you everyone for reporting issues to us. That's super helpful. So yeah, it just one of many, I guess, is the short answer.
That's awesome. So from complex questions to basic ones, a very basic question: which class do you like more, the Tech Blade or the Battlemancer? What do you go for?
I like the Battlemancer personally. I'm sort of a Chronomancer player normally, and the Battlemancer gives me a little bit more survivability, which is fun. So that'd be my preference. Yeah.
Nice.
But they're both good. I like
Did you get to level 30 on live? Did you unlock it on live yet?
I have not unlocked it on live, although in dev and staging, I've probably put the number of hours times 10 into getting there just through testing or stuff like that. But we try to keep devs off of live so that there's not like an unfair advantage of any kinds, especially in like big time developer accounts or whatever. So I get in there to test and kind of sniff around, see what people are up to, but I try not to put too much time into it.
Yeah, I hope you guys get rest dropping these like colossal game updates for us. I hope you guys can take a little bit of a breather between.
There's a few hours of darkness every day where we can sleep. Yeah,
there you go. All right, well, I'm glad. Without further ado, let's jump right into these questions. If you guys live under a tank bug sized rock, we made a Twitter post a couple days ago where you guys commented your questions, and today we're going to blast through as many as we have time for today and get them answered. If your question wasn't answered today, don't worry. There's always next month, and we should be able to crush through it if we didn't get through it today. All right, let's get into these questions. All right. First one by our very own Ian Wang 666. He asks, when will you add interaction animations for space decorations like sleeping on a bed or sitting in a chair?
Yeah, good question. This is definitely something that we want to do and have started working on to some extent. I don't have a direct date I can give you. As with everything, there's lots of priorities that we're juggling. So this is a nice to have thing that we definitely want to put in there, but I don't have an exact date. Soon. There's a lot of animations that we want to make for these. Like you laying on a bed, sitting on a chair, two good examples. We'd also love to do things like leaning over a table, or we're going to add light sconces and a bunch of other stuff, other types of decorations down the line that would have more cool interact capabilities as well. But I guess the short answer is soon.
Yeah, you can already jump on your bed, which is a bunch of fun. I've done that. I waste time doing that all the time. Okay, Range Killer 44 asks, very simple, but I think it's on a lot of people's minds. When box?
I'm assuming this is asking about the mystery box, which I can't give you an exact date, but that will also be soon. It will coincide with the game economy launch. So that's something that's actually our top priority right now, what we're working on feverishly to get into the next couple patches. So once the game economy launches and the token launches and all that kind of stuff is when you'll see those boxes.
Oh, dude, I think you said the magic words. I think everyone just got a huge boost, like an adrenaline rush when you said that. All right, Nimbus D82 asks, would be nice to be able to mount our looted NFT weapons and armor on the wall or armor displays, make it more personal. Weapon/armor displays could lead to player-run stores or shops right from the comfort of their own space. Will give us reasons to visit others. Anything like this in the works?
Yeah, definitely. So there's sort of two things. We'll cover the first one first. You might have noticed there's a weapon rack deco item already that you can place in your personal metaverse. That will eventually become a place you can store your, well, stores maybe, display is a better word, where you can display your NFTs. And we will be doing more things like that because I love this idea. We probably will do some sort of wall rack where you could put hang a weapon on the wall, those sorts of things. Anything that lets people show off the cool gear that they have is definitely something that we're going to do. And then the other question is a little bit talking about the same thing, but really the question is, are we going to do trading tables or something of that nature? And this is something that we saw suggested in Discord some time ago, and I love this idea. This is definitely something that we're going to do also. It's just a time permitting thing like everything else. But what we'll probably do first is a trading table where you can put it in your personal metaverse. You can put some stuff up for sale there. It also allows players to do the sort of like both parties agree trade situation. So you can actually, I'm going to give you 10 gold for that potion or whatever you want to do. So that'll be something that you can look forward to in the next few weeks as well.
Yeah, so the Vendroid won't keep ripping you off, man.
Other players will rip you off.
There you go. Won't just be the Vendroids. All right. Jabroni135 asked, when is the other side of Time's End going to be accessible? Across the long river from Watertown. I'd call that more of a sea than a long river, but I think we get the gist.
Yeah, that's so we've got a few big efforts going on in Time's End. One is the other continent sort of subsections of Time's End that, like you're mentioning. The other one is building out Epoch City. So Epoch City is this big city hub that's floating on an island inside Time's End, and that will become kind of the main social hub for players. Time's End will still be there, but when you first get into the game and when you're talking to most vendors, you'll be up in Epoch City. And then once Epoch City is done, then we'll move on to other aspects of the overworld, as we call it, or Time's End, including probably opening up one more continent. We haven't decided which yet, but yeah, that's all coming. We have big plans for other cool stuff to do inside Time's End as well that involve more quests and combat, a little bit more interactive stuff than what's there now.
Is Epoch City something you're going to be able to walk through, or do you have to use a portal to be able to traverse that land?
It'll be a zone that you can walk around in. Are you talking about going from Epoch City back down to Time's End?
Yeah, or vice versa.
Oh, that will be it. It'll be like way up in the sky. So.
Very cool. All right, Metaverse Genius asks, when can I transfer an NFT to any account that I want? When will you integrate the game to the blockchain so we can transfer the NFT like we can do in other Web3 games?
So similar to the mystery box, this is a feature that we have complete. Actually, we are testing it and making sure that everything is working well, but it'll launch at the same time as the game economy. So that's an important aspect of the game economy all functioning, is allowing people to take both NFTs and the time token off onto the blockchain and do whatever they want with it, put it back later. So that'll be soon, in the next couple patches once we launch the game economy.
Yeah, definitely on the open loot side of things. Okay, GoJan asks, I'm a lover of stories. Could you create a comic to understand how humanity arrives at Time's End and Waterfall Town? I think they're trying to say Watertown. Stories of heroes or simple stories of anecdotes. If you think about it, it could be an NFT comic like the other ones DC Comics are doing.
That's a cool idea. Yeah, I mean, as far as the comic goes, that's probably going to be something that would have to be later on down the line. We have, you're probably going to be hearing me say this a lot, but we have lots of priorities to juggle, and that's not high up on the list. I do think it's a great idea. And one thing I will say is within the game, not necessarily within a separate comic, in the next couple patches we're looking at, actually in the next patch, we'll be adding more sort of lore and story delivery to the campaign. So you'll have a little bit more information about what's going on in the world and why you're there and all those sorts of things. So that's going to be something that's ongoing that we're kind of layering on as time goes on. But the first big step will be in 0.27.
Oh man, I'm a lore lover. I love that kind of stuff. So I want Schrodinger to keep giving me things to do. I love it. All right. XX asks in a bunch of numbers, when comes the economy launch? Kind of what you were talking about before, but more specific.
Yeah, I can't give you an exact date, but I will say that is our top focus right now, so it won't be very long. We want to make sure that we get it right. So the first thing you'll see is us launching a bunch of the economy features into staging or into testing, basically. So player council and other players can come help us test functionality wise. The token will be on a test net, so it won't be real, but we want to make sure that all of those systems work and that they are balanced as well as we can get them before we actually open the thing up and launch it for real. Because once you do that, it's very hard to go back. So we don't want to screw it up.
Man, I know so many people are going to be just so jazzed for that to happen. That's going to be really cool. Okay, XX asks another question. Do we have a fixed date for public launch already?
So the we do not have a fixed date. I guess is the short answer. We will be doing sort of a invite beta. That's the next big step in big time, where players like yourselves will get a few invites that they can send to their friends, and that will be semi-public. It's like we'll be bringing in more people that are not necessarily people that bought passes early on or whatever. And then once we've been in that stage for enough time, such that we're happy with how things are playing, and that especially the economy is balanced and working well, then we'll take all the restrictions off and open it up to the public. But there's no firm date on that.
Oh, wow. So that's really cool. Be able to invite people. That's awesome. Okay, next up, Time Warman. Looking forward to May's town hall stream. Here we are. I have a question. Could you provide some insights on the upcoming features or updates that we can expect in the next patch? Excited to hear more about the progress. I think that's kind of what you're just saying, but you can elaborate if you want to.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, so our patches, we try to cram absolutely as much into them as we can. So there's going to be, I think, our like the build notes for the last patch were like 6 or 7 pages of the condensed version. So it'll probably be similar, where it's a mixed bag of all sorts of different things. But some of the bigger items that we're biting off in the next patch, which is 0.27, will be that sort of like campaign plus that I was alluding to, where you get a little bit more lore delivery, you get a little bit more structured path of stuff to do after you get out of the training grounds. And we think we're pretty excited about that one because it gives players interesting reasons to explore the world and try out other dungeon instances and rewards for doing so. So that's a big one. The next big one is we're looking at adding, or actually we're working on already adding a number of we're calling them social features, but they're things like being able to direct message people, being able to have a friends list, being able to have a guild that you can talk amongst the guild and send invites out and kind of control your own stuff inside the game. These are, those are sort of like in order of our priorities, and it's not necessarily going to be the case that all of them make 0.27, but we are working on all of them, get as many of them as we can. The other really big one is like automatic party finding. We've been hearing from lots of people that it's difficult to find a party, and the game is built around parties, so that's no good, right? So we want to make sure that if you don't have a party already, like you don't already have a group of friends that you want to play with, you can kind of click a button and queue up, and the game will find people for you to party with if you just want to jump in for a match or two and then get out without having to, text people and trying to organize all that stuff yourself. So those are just some of the really big things that you can look forward to coming up. Like I said, there's a bunch of other stuff to look forward to in addition, but we probably spend the whole time talking about the whole list if we wanted to go through them all. But
dude, oh my God, it's awesome. I'm so excited for those social features. I know people that are really big on guilds are they just got so excited from that. Okay. XX asks another question. Is BigTime planning more marketplace updates along with open loot for this quarter?
Yes. Yeah. So open loot, the marketplace, is pushing updates pretty commonly, actually, maybe more commonly than people realize, because often we don't do a big fanfare around them, but we're constantly adding features. One of the things that you probably noticed recently, we added item trading history. We'll soon be adding user trading history and a number of other things. We're trying to think of other like exciting features that are going in. There's a whole lot of stuff that the open loot team is doing to support the game economy, as you might imagine. Because the game economy has to work hand in hand with open loot. to make all of those things work. So there's a lot of stuff that may not be obvious that they're working on that is actually on OpenLoot's side. Another one that's maybe interesting to folks is that we're going to add the ability for players to change their OpenLoot display name or their username, basically, that's displayed in BigTime and on the marketplace. You can already do that via a customer service request, but we want to make that more of a self-serve kind of situation. So that's something they're working on. But just like BigTime, there's a big list of stuff that they're working on, and they do releases several times a month. So short answer is yes.
That's awesome. I guess the answer is just be more vigilant and you'll see the things that are there. Okay. XX asks another, will space holders get a token airdrop as a reward for waiting and supporting BigTime?
Yeah, so we have some stuff online about our airdrop system already that you might want to take a look at. Because already if you are holding space and playing the game, you get rewards from this airdrop system. So that's something that's been ongoing. I think the important thing there is that there's no passive rewards. You have to actually get in and play the game a little bit. You complete some dungeons, complete some quests, stuff like that. So yeah, might want to check that out online and see what you need to do to kind of check those boxes. But you can definitely get rewards for having space. Yeah.
Oh, that's sick. Okay, this is the final XX question. Is another space sale planned?
I won't say never, but probably not. It's possible we'll change our minds at some point in the future, but we have done our space sale that we wanted to do, and it's likely we won't do one again anytime soon. But you never know. So there's
You never know.
no promises one way or the other, but we don't have any plans to do one.
More exclusivity. That's what it's all about. Okay, it's Crypto Dan says, why is there no official collection of the Binance postcards on OpenSea? People who don't have access to Binance can't find them on OpenSea this way. Please make an official collection or integrate them into the one that already exists, as can be seen in this pic. We can't see this pic, but imagine there is one.
I guess the short answer is I don't know. We'll have to get with we'll get with OpenSea and see if they can help us get a collection there going. It seems like something we should be able to do.
Cool. So there you go. That's a thank you, Crypto Dan. Okay. Jorn the Redeemer, terrifying username. Which patch can we expect BigTime to enable on-chain withdrawals of NFTs?
This is kind of covered by that previous question, but this will coincide with the economy launch. So I don't have an exact date for you, but soon, and yeah, probably sooner than you might think.
Cool. Nice. Very soon. Okay. What plans does BigTime have to differentiate early access NFTs from the preseason and season NFTs, i.e., special portals or increased token drops?
I guess I don't really 100% understand the question because the early access NFTs are already different. Like there's a number of NFTs that drops during early access that are never going to drop again because they're early access specific. So in that sense, they're already different. Special portals and increased token drops. So one of the things that we're planning on doing for the game economy is having prestige portals that will require people wear certain types of NFTs or certain categories of NFTs. So it's possible that we would do an early access prestige portal. I don't think that's a bad idea, but not sure if that's what you're asking or not.
Cool. Thank you. All right. We're going to skip this next question because it's pretty much something you just previously answered. Yakul_ETH, he asked, the Thunder Cube is awesome. Can we have PvP or team versus team in a setting like the Thunder Cube? It would even be cool if there were constant waves of enemies that we have to deal with while battling each other. Plus, the power-ups and power-downs are a nice touch too with PvP.
Love it. Yeah, I don't have a firm date for you, but PvP is definitely something that we are going to do. And having it in a setting like Thunder Cube sounds awesome to me. I think when we do PvP, and again, this is all subject to change because we have not done more than kind of like play around with this a little bit. It will likely be some sort of like player versus environment situation like this, where there's enemies to kill that are AI driven as well as player driven. So yes, we'll definitely get something like that going soon. It's something that brings a lot of life to the game, and I'm personally very excited about PvP. I've always loved head-to-head games more than anything else. So at some point we will get that in there.
That's gonna be fun. I can imagine the rage people are gonna have. Okay. Crypto EGW says, would you consider implementing wings or flying capes in the near future? Would be nice to be able to craft them in game.
So I'm not sure if you're actually asking for wings that let the player fly around or just like cosmetic wings. I think, well, I will answer both versions of it, I guess. The cosmetic wings and capes and stuff are definitely categories of NFTs that we've looked at and have even concepted. So we'd love to have, big fiery wings that you can attach to your back as you walk around, or other sort of attached particle systems is something that we're looking at doing. Same with capes. I think attachable capes are a really cool sort of cosmetic thing. As far as like actually being able to fly in the game, possibly. That is something that we've kicked around, like wingsuits or even grappling hooks, things of that nature. There's a pretty big overhead in terms of production to doing something like that because it's really hard to control where the players are able to get in your levels. So other parts of the level that players aren't supposed to be able to get to are suddenly they're able to get to. So you kind of have to go do a pass over the whole game and make sure that everything is still okay once you turn those sorts of things on. But in general, I love those sorts of mobility systems. They make the game a lot more fun. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see that enter the game at some point. Just don't know exactly when.
Oh, cool. There you go. So maybe one day. Okay, next question. Do you have any plan to collaborate with other NFT projects in the game? Like anyone that has an ape NFT, or the player can have a pet ape in the game, I think is what they're going for.
We don't have any concrete plans for this yet, but one of the things that we love about Open Loot is Open Loot, besides being a marketplace that you all know and love and trade your BigTime NFTs on, it also supports other projects and other games. So we are onboarding a bunch of new exciting projects onto Open Loot that are now Open Loot partners. And that gives us some really nice inroads to be able to organize relationships like this. So that's definitely something that we're looking at doing. And I believe something that we're sort of uniquely equipped to be able to do because of the way the Open Loop platform is set up. So we're excited about this and definitely want to try and get some sort of more metaverse-y type NFTs going for sure.
Cool. You never know. Maybe one day. That's very cool. Okay, another question. It's very easy. When time tokens will be airdropped?
Airdrop is maybe a loaded term. I'm not sure that I'm not sure we've announced what time token airdrop will look like. The time token will not be available until the game economy launches, which is it's all lined up with the withdrawal of NFTs and a bunch of the other questions about mystery boxes and all those sorts of things. So that's when the time token will first become available. As far as actually airdropping the time token, we haven't announced anything related to that, so I can't say more than that, but look for more information on that as we get closer to the game economy launch.
TBA. Cool. Next question. In the future, would it be possible for players to set up their own vendor stations, possibly in a future town that we can set up vendor booths to sell crafting materials or something for the likes for gold or time tokens? I guess that's Epoch City.
So if you're setting up your own vendor station, we think this will look like actually is like you can leave a portal to your personal metaverse open and let players come in and interact with one of those trading tables that we were talking about earlier. So that would allow both you to sort of asynchronously sell items to other players, but also you can let other players come in and check out your cool personal metaverse, because you might have some really cool decorations in there. You want to show that stuff off. So there's a bunch of other systems that are related to this that we want to put in place. Like firstly, anytime that you have some situation where players can put something in the world, you have to be really careful about that, because otherwise you'll see people sticking portals inside of, or in front of other dungeon portals, or kind of griefing each other and doing weird stuff with that. So there's lots of kind of edge cases that we have to handle with that. But I love this idea. I really want people to be able to kind of open a gateway into their own personal metaverse and show it off more long term, instead of just when you're with the person. And there's probably some other features we want to add on top of that, like maybe a door that you can put in your personal metaverse that only lets people in your party or in your guilds have access beyond a certain point. So you could kind of have like the the public area of your personal metaverse, and then the private area, which is only for you and your friends. That those sort of things are all stuff that we want to kind of get in there, because that's kind of what we need to do to untap the potential of the personal metaverse, I
Yeah, got to make sure they won't be griefing, because the community can't be trusted.
think.
All
But
right.
not everyone in the community, but there's always a few.
There's always a few. Okay. Next question. Are the gears with the new Shadow Blade abilities in the game?
I'm not sure what new Shadow Blade abilities you're referring to, but we added a bunch of new Shadow Blade abilities in 0.26, and those are in the game. So I guess the answer is yes, but maybe if you want to jump on a Discord and clarify which abilities you're talking about specifically, we can answer you more specifically there too.
Yeah, but I'm sure that all of them are. Okay. Bill Bull asks, could you explain the upcoming time airdrop rules?
Sort of the same question as before. We'll have to wait until we have more information to share on that, but we will.
Yeah. Another question is pretty much what's already been answered before, so I guess we're not going to go over that. What price will the token have at launch?
Also, nothing to announce here. We likely will. It'll be sort of maybe not your typical token launch, because time is not your typical token. But anyway, we'll have more details and information to announce later on.
You just gotta wait for the economy. I guess that's what it comes down to. Okay. What blockchain do you plan to stay on?
So BigTime is currently on Ethereum mainnet, and that will probably be our sort of native chain for the foreseeable future. We plan on adding support to, well, and we already have like inbound support from Solana and Polygon and a bunch of other things if you want to just deposit tokens via that other chain. But we will add native bridges to as many of other chains as we can, because the end result, or the end goal of OpenLoot, is to support as many chains as possible. So we'll be looking at adding support for things like Polygon and maybe BSC and a few others in the coming months. But our sort of native chain will stay Ethereum.
Very cool. Nice. You heard it here, folks. This is the last question we have time for today. When do you start? What I'm trying to say. When do you start working on game security, fix hacks problems, and add real multiplayer instead of hub world with instanced dungeons?
So there's lots of stuff to unpack here. Firstly,
a lot of stuff.
In 0.26, we added protections against a bunch of cheats that we found people using prior to that. So there was like a speed hack and like one that would let you attack faster than you should have been able to, and things. But the good news is BigTime is a server authoritative game, which means ultimately almost everything is impossible to cheat if we set the game up right. Basically what they found was a hole in the way that those particular things were implemented, which we have now plugged. So there's no amount of game client thing that they can do that allows them to attack fast like they used to be able to, or run around quickly. And also we have taken steps to ban a number of people that were using those cheats in the past. So I would advise against trying to use those in the future, or you may not be able to play the game anymore. So that, I think, is largely addressed. But as always, we will keep an eye out, and if other things emerge, we'll go fix them in a patch as soon as we can. So I mean, that's basically, I think those cheats were around for like a month or something like that before we detected them and banned the players and then corrected all the issues. So I think that's, the premise is a little bit disingenuous since we have addressed those rather quickly, and we'll continue to do so. Anyway, as far as like adding real multiplayer, I'm not sure what real multiplayer is, because the game is multiplayer. You can go look up multiplayer on Wikipedia if you want. It qualifies. It's definitely a multiplayer game. And multiplayer with, instead of a hub world with instance dungeons, I mean, that's just the way the game works. That's the way lots of games work. So I don't think that's going to change. We want to have a combination of big open world hubs that let you kind of interact with lots of players at once. But also the type of combat that we have in BigTime, it doesn't really work in a big open world multiplayer. Like imagine something like the Thunder Cube, where you've also got like 1,000 other people around, and it just doesn't work both from a technology standpoint, but also from a gameplay standpoint. It gets super chaotic. Even massively multiplayer games like World of Warcraft or whatever have instances for this exact same reason. If you want to have a large enough scale combat, you have to have an instance so that the 2 or 3 or 4 parties of players are not stepping on each other and kind of like, what the first party goes in and completes the quest, and then everybody else has nothing to do because it's already done. It sort of breaks down. So that's just an intentional choice that we made, and that's what we're going to stick with.
For sure. Yeah. Well, dude, thank you so much for that. There's a final question, I believe, from Twitch chat for me. Question for Zach: what shampoo are you using, bro? Whatever's on the most discount at the store, dude. Hair care routine is minimal, but thank you, dude. Whatever's on sale. That's what I like to say. But dude, thank you so much for coming on. That is all the time we have for today. Matt, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to answer these questions and to be here today. And of course, thank you to the audience if you're watching this live or later through a VOD. Again, I'm Zach. I'm the community manager of BigTime. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day. And if your question wasn't answered on this month's installment, we'll be sure to try and have it answered next month. And Matt, anything you want to end it off on?
Just keep giving us feedback. That's all super helpful. So jump on the Discord and let us know if you find bugs or if you just have cool ideas. We love that. I mean, so part of the big reason that we released the game early access like we did is to engage the community and kind of like make it more of a community development rather than just us working in a vacuum and then releasing to everybody else. So
yeah,
any engagement you guys can give us is going to be awesome.
You heard the boss. All right, guys. Thank you, everyone, and have a fantastic rest of your day. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
See ya.